1958, we took a trip to Havasu Canyon to visit a tribe of Indians, which were known as the Supai Indians. And we visited a missionary there who was ministering to the Supai Indians. We went about 100 miles from Flagstaff to go to the Grand Canyon National Park. So we got up about 4:30 and we took Route 66. And then we turned off on a really, really rough, dusty dirt road right through the desert. And it was, rough and big ditches and just a really hard ride. And that was 60 miles. We traveled 60 miles on this old dirt road till we got to the top of the canyon wall. Then we looked down and we said, are we really going down there? It looked so steep and so far. And they had pack horses there as well as Indian ponies that we were to ride down. And from the top of the canyon wall, it was into Supai village, it was 8 miles. But I think the first couple miles were straight down. Just really, really switchback trails. My husband went first, and there were 5 of us. And then they had 3 pack horses. And the Indians never moved a rock. They never cleared the trail. They called them Indian ponies. They just had to learn, to go around all the rocks and all the rough spots. And we sure had to trust them because we didn't know what we were doing. And I hadn't ridden a horse in years. Then we got down into the valley, and the contrast was just amazing because we had just come through 60 miles of desert. And you get down where the Havasu River is, and everything is lush and green, and the Indians had beautiful gardens, there were beautiful flowers. It was just amazing, the contrast between the desert and the valley where the Havasu River runs. And we had another, probably 5 miles or more to go. And that was pretty much the same, although it was a level ground, but it wasn't really what you'd call a trail. And there were a few streams we had to cross. And so we finally got to the village, and we were staying actually in the chapel. We had brought sleeping bags. And so we slept on the floor of the chapel of the missionaries. And the chapel was made out of the rock off the side of the canyon. And the canyon is actually a 2-walled. There's a white wall, which is 800 feet. And then there's the red rock wall, which is 3,000 feet. And so it was just an amazing experience. Well, a lot of huts, nothing very fancy, sort of adobe type, some that they made out of mud and straw, and some had, rock type that they had built, but most of them were very primitive. They had beautiful gardens, and so they dry their corn, and they have that, during the winter months. Very few of them ever leave the valley, very few. Actually, we were there on a weekend, and so we had a service on Sunday. And Saturday night, we all got together, the missionaries and those who went with us, and we sang. They had a little portable organ. And the amazing thing, when you looked around, you saw, a small refrigerator and an organ and a little bit of furniture. Everything was brought down on pack mule. There was gasoline, everything was operated by gasoline, there was no electricity. And so every time you brought something down, it was $10, whether it was a load of groceries or whatever. The name Supai means people of the blue-green water, and the water is just gorgeous. It's blue-green, just sort of like the Caribbean. We were there 3 whole days. And then the 4th day, we packed everything up, got the pack mules to take our belongings up. We got on our horses, and it was easier going up than it was for us than it was coming down. But the horses, if you've ever ridden a horse, they love going home, but they don't like going away from home. So it took us almost 4 hours to get back up to where our vehicle was. It was a different part of the world. I didn't know, I didn't realize that in the United States of America there was a place like Supai Village and the Havasu Indians. I guess one word would be thankfulness. I was just thankful for what I had, but I was also thankful that I got to see the accomplishments that these missionaries had made so far, and we're still working many years later. So.